permission of our Honorable Vice-Chancellor, sir, may I begin the session? All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the online International Faculty Development Program Valedictory session on promoting advanced research methodology in new emerging trends and technology, a social legal approach organized by School of Law, Starex University, Gurugram. On the behalf of Starex University, I am R.Prerna, Assistant Professor of School of Law. Welcome you all. We'll begin the session in our traditional way by paying tribute to Mother Saraswati, the goddess of knowledge. Thank you, everyone. The vision of our university is to convert our motto, none as semper, now is forever, for spreading the light of education with youth empowerment, forever as a street smart, simple, moral, action-oriented, responsive, and transparent global citizens. Now, I would like to welcome Ms. Rashmi Kaushik, Head of the Department School of Law, to address the gathering. Over to you, ma'am.
Am I audible to everyone?
No, you don't.
Muskan ma'am, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, thank you. I am Rashmi Kaushik, Head of Department, School of Law, Starex University, and I am fortunate to have this opportunity to conclude this week-long IFTP. I begin this event by quoting Neil Armstrong, who rightly said, research is creating new knowledge. And in this week-long International Faculty Development Program, which began on 18 July, has finally come to an end today. I believe we all collectively have gained new knowledge. Our IFTP program was inaugurated by Dr. Manoj Kumar Sinha, the Director of Indian Law Institute, New Delhi. Thereafter, we had many esteemed speakers with us, such as Dr. Naresh Kumar Vats, Professor Dr. Ajay Kumar Bhatt, Dr. Prasanshu, Registrar Sir, Dr. Tapan Chakravarti, retired DIG BPRD, Dr. Chola Rajan from DU, Ankita Sharma from MIT University, Dr. Dinesh Daima, Mohammed Imran, faculty of Sharia, Maldives, Miss Sanjana from Norway, and many others. Let's have a big round of applause for all our speakers for greeting this event by their presence and providing wonderful and knowledgeable sessions. Now, as we begin with today's event, first of all, I would like to welcome our chief guest of the event, Ms. Nishtha Jaswal, Vice-Chancellor, HPNLU, Shimla. Honorable Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dr. K.S. Rana, and Registrar Sir, Professor Dr. Amresh Kumar. I would also like to welcome Dean Academics, Dr. Divya Tyagi, all deans, HODs, and my dear participants. Beginning with today's session, first of all, I would like to introduce with our Honorable Vice-Chancellor Shri K.S. Rana ji. Professor Dr. Krishna Shekhar Rana is a recipient of several national and international awards, like SARC Regional Brilliance Award in the year 2022, Outstanding Leadership Award of Asia 2021, and many more. Professor Rana has an honor of heading the 5 universities like Kumaon University, Nainital Residential University, Nalanda University, etc. as Vice Chancellor prior to assuming the charge of the Vice Chancellor of our university. I welcome you, sir, and kindly say a few words. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much. I am very much pleased to hearing this news day to day that our university have organized this very important event. I thanks to all the participants and especially our team organized under the leadership of our dynamic registrar, Professor Amresh, the faculty heads and other faculty members. I welcome Honorable Vice Chancellor of Shimla University, Law University, Nishtha Jaswal, that they have given their precious time to this valedictory function. He is the chief guest, and the participants and audible persons will get benefited from his speech and words, whatever they are delivering in this law event. The law basically was installed in this university 2 years back by the different endeavors of our administrative officers. Honorable Chancellor had taken pains, and this faculty is established now in full swing. There are more than required faculty members under norms of Bar Council of India. So this chapter of research, promoting advanced research methodology in new emerging trends and technology, a socio-legal approach. It was organized by July 18 to 23rd. And it was in the auspices of Starex University Law Faculty, that is Law College. Now, I hope that this program will benefit our faculty members, other persons who are connected to this program, and students especially who are taking interest in this program since last 1 week. Thank you very much. A special thanks to the chief guest, Vice Chancellor of Himachal Law University, and our organizing team. They have managed very well this program for the interest of the university and upgrading of our status. Thank you very much to all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Further, I would like to introduce you with our Honorable Registrar Sir, Professor Dr. Amresh Kumar. Before joining our esteemed organization, Sir was practicing at the Supreme Court of India and sports law as sports attorney in India. Sir has more than 36 years of experience as an academician and educational administrator of central government and private institutions. Sir is director at the Amresh and Amresh Law Associates and founder secretary general of the Asian Council of Sports Arbitration and Sports Law India. I welcome you, sir, and kindly say a few words.
Thank you, Honorable Vice-Chancellor, sir, and Honorable Vice-Chancellor of Himachal Pradesh National Law University, ma'am. It is our pleasure that you spared your valuable time and given to us for this very useful webinar or AFDP. I thank all the participants, those who have attended this, and with this short note, I would request the organizing team head to continue, and we want to hear eagerly the speech of our chief guest.
Thank you so much, sir. Now, without further delay, I would like to introduce and welcome our honorable chief guest who has taken time out of her busy schedule to attend our event on this particular day. We couldn't have asked for anything more. I'm confident that our participants will benefit greatly from your presence. I welcome you, ma'am. Professor Dr. Nishtha Jaswal is... One second, please. Yes. Respected Professor Dr. Nishtha Jaswal is an admission, administrator, and currently the Vice-Chancellor of National University, Shimla. She is the first women Vice-Chancellor of HPNLU, Shimla. She has started her teaching career in 1986. She was also invited as visiting professor by the British Academy, London in 1993. She has teaching experience of 33 years and research experience of 35 years. Her specialization is constitutional law, administrative law, human rights, and environment law. She has published 56 papers and presented 25 seminars and conferences. She has given guidance supervision to LLM and PhD students. She has published so many books such as Role of Supreme Court with regard to the right to life and personal liberty, human rights and the law as facilitator of socio-economic reforms, selected essays on Companies Act, etc. She has a very wide research work such as on judicial activism in India, environmental laws, anti-dowry legislations in India, delay in execution of death sentence, etc. I welcome you, ma'am, with my whole heart. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you. Esteemed Vice-Chancellor, Registrar, Deans, faculty members of Starex University, and my dear participants. At the very outset, I'm really thankful to your esteemed university for inviting me to this valedictory ceremony. It's always an interesting part of the story that the guest who is invited as valedictory address has not gone through what was deliberated upon throughout the program. But just looking at the topic, looking at the themes, I can ponder over and I can talk about just addressing the participants. I would share with the participants that there's a proverb, curiosity killed the cat. Now, this proverb was used to warn against the dangers of unnecessary investigation. Originally, the proverb was care killed the cat, and care was defined as worry. On 10th August 1905, the Galveston Delhi newspaper printed a quotation, "Curiosity killed a cat, but it came back." On 23rd December 1912, In the Titusville Herald newspaper, there was published, curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. Now, what I want to tell the participants, that curiosity is but natural. If I just refer to Zora Neale Hurston, I quote, researchers who formulated curiosity, it is poking and prying with a purpose. And Albert Einstein also said, the important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existing. That's but natural. Unless and until we have a curiosity, we have a quest for learning more, we will not opt for doing research, whether as research scholars, as scientists, or otherwise as per need. Now, today we would not have got the COVID-19 vaccination if there was no quest, if there was no curiosity. Curiosity is fine. Even stress and worry to some extent is fine. I understand when you are undergoing research, you have this curiosity and you have this worry, this stress. But stress must be you stress, good stress, which motivates you, and not distress, which in fact bring an obstacle in your research. Now, research, if I talk about what is research, many a time we say what has already been searched, we are researching, we are searching it again. But then even if we are searching something again or searching something new from some new problems which have emerged, as the topic talks about, due to new technologies or otherwise development, then this has to be systematic investigation of the facts, and so that ultimately we can reach to some conclusions. And for that purpose we need research methods. Research methods are the way in which the research study is designed. We may talk about the design, the steps for research design. Similarly, we need certain principles on which these methods are based. This we take as a research methodology. And I must say that when we do research, then we have certain foundations. We just begin the research on some foundation. That foundation is the existing models, existing theories. Now then, what we do, either we build up the same theory, we continue with the same theory, or we demolish the theory or the models and bring out new models or new theories. I can quote Kurt Lewin when he said, theory without practice is sterile, but practice without theory is blind. So we can't move on the blind path. Can you move blindfolded to and reach your destination? Then you need some kind of support. Now, what we do, we have certain existing theories, we test. Now, we test the theories, whether these theories are applicable in the modern times, with the change in the needs, with the change in the time. Then either the number of situations, as I said, we may totally reject, we may partially accept. Now, if we totally reject, in that case also, if we partially reject or accept, in that case also, we have to formulate new foundations, new theories. Now, as this program is being organized by the School of Law, I can simply remind the participants that I hope you are aware of Hofeldian concept of rights, dual correlationship. When he talked about it, he said, if I have a power, I am immune, but you are liable. Now, in the modern times, if I just remind you that Supreme Court has innovated the concept of public accountability. Number of cases. Public accountability basically means when you abuse the power, when you misuse the power, you have to face the consequences. And we have no dearth of cases where the Supreme Court imposed personal liability. Wherever compensation was awarded, that compensation is to be recovered from the pockets of the guilty officials. Now that means, now we don't go by the existing theory. Now we say, if power is vested in me, I am also accountable. Now this is how we build up on this basis. Now research, again, either you are compelled because you want to do your PhD, so you're doing research. But otherwise, you need research. There are many purposes, many objectives, many aims for doing research. Now, like it may be that we want to improve upon the techniques, we want to improve upon the technologies. And in the modern times, see how development takes place. Now we talk about like right to privacy as a fundamental right, which is established by the Supreme Court in K.S. Puttaswamy's case in 2017. And because of this, now we are focusing on number of other issues. Even when we talk about artificial intelligence, or when we talk about the use of data, so we need even data protection laws. So this is basically the purpose, that we want improvement. We are using techniques. We have so many scientific methods. Like we have so many methods, like if I talk about artificial modes of pregnancy, we may talk about IVF, we may talk about the surrogacy. Now, for regulating everything, we need new laws, new norms, which have to be based on different models and different theories. And for that purpose, we need research. Then, of course, we can talk about that the basis is a utilitarian approach. And when we talk about happiness of maximum people, utility, then we have to see whether the existing technology, whether the existing laws, they are suitable in the present times. Like, if you can remember that how we reached the decision of Joseph Shine of 2018, where the adultery, section 497, was declared as unconstitutional. While we traveled from Yusuf Abdul Aziz versus State of Bombay from 1954, when this matter was confined only to the matrimonial matters. It was not to be brought to the criminal court. Situation was entirely different. So this is the utilitarian objective. Now, if we just turn back the pages of history, and we'll find how Sati Pratha was prevalent in the medieval period, and this continued until law was passed in 1987 after the case of Roop Kamar in Rajasthan. Similarly, if we talk about the empowerment, upliftment of women, even though I don't believe I'm using this term, but I always say that women are born empowered, then certain religious rights were not given. There was a time even the women could not recite Gayatri Mantra, but gone are the days. Now still such kind of issue emerged before us in Sabrimala case. Now again, we have to think from the point of utility, need of the society, and so that is why now this is again before the Supreme Court for review. Then for bringing out a cause-effect relationship, causal relationship. Now here we need, it's not that if we have to frame laws and if we have to implement laws and make more rules, policies, etc., but then we have to find out basically the root cause. Ultimately, the laws will not be effective. Laws will not be successful in achieving the aims unless and until there is a causal relationship which we are able to build up through research. Like now we can find out the causes of drug addiction. We can have the hypothesis whether poverty is the sole cause, poverty is the sole cause for commission of crime. Now, this is here we talk about causal relationship. Then there's always a social purpose. Even if I don't give an example, I think all of you can understand that research, whether in any field of science, whether in any field of social science, whether in any field of law, has always a touch of social issues. And then there are different kinds of researches. One common difference we talk about, we say doctrinal and empirical research. Now, there was a trend in the field of law for years together to have only doctrinal research. But now it is not possible because we have to collect data as evidence even for bringing change in the laws or framing new laws. Now, whatever the situation, like again, I take the same example. If right to privacy has been established as a fundamental right, nowadays we are exposing ourselves to social media. All of us are inclinedly approaching and the social networking sites. So number of issues which may arise because of technology, because of our change in our perceptions and thought process, then merely doctrinal research, that is the existing literature and the existing decisions, it is not possible. We have to conduct. Now, when we are on the threshold of having a data protection law, then of course we need empirical research only. And now we have this criminal identification bill. Again, this needs data to be available, whether it can be implemented successfully, whether the consequences, the effect will be a positive one or there will be some negative effects which need to be excluded. Now then, and another thing I must tell the participants, especially those who are pursuing or going to start their PhD, that you can have a doctrinal research only when you are going to talk about some philosophical aspect, some jurisprudential aspect. But then you have to be great scholars to lay down a new model or a new theory. Only then that research is effective. Then we do talk about quantitative and qualitative research. Proper research needs both because we need data. How many? Like, if we talk about the success of a particular election, we talk about the number of voters. If we want to know, like as I've already talked about, the root cause for any social problem, any problem relating to commission of crime, then we need to know why it is happening. That means immediately comes into picture qualitative research. We do talk about fundamental research. Fundamental research is, again, I have already discussed this, that when we refer to the existing theories and either validate, and we say these are valid theories, we must continue, or we build up new theories. And at the same time, when we are working, we have to go by reliability. Now, validity and reliability. Reliability is how consistent the results are. Validity is, could you measure what you intended to measure? Similarly, in the present circumstances, when we say advanced research, most important is applied research, and at the same level is when we talk about quasi research. Applied research is when we apply the theories in the practical domain. Like, we never thought that we will suffer due to COVID-19 pandemic and this will be the situation. We'll be locked in the houses, and we will have everything on virtual mode. In fact, we had never imagined that. So during such situations, this applied research becomes very, very prominent and effective. Like research, which was required, and so many webinars were conducted, and many students, they started their PhDs on this topic, like COVID-19 pandemic and human rights, COVID-19 pandemic and right to privacy. Similarly, when we talk about quasi research, immediately comes into picture the multidisciplinary approach. Multidisciplinary approach. Now, if I just talk about the evil of corruption, I think we have a touch on the legal side, on the side of political science to build up theories. Then sociological angle, impact on the society, and then psychological angle. Now, my neighbor earns half the salary I am earning, but he has a BMW and I have a Maruti car. Then frustration is natural. It has impact on mental health. No research can be done in isolation. Similarly, when we talk about, like we say, clemency petition. Clemency is when somebody is undergoing imprisonment, then mercy petition is before the governor or the president, as the case may be. Then immediately comes into picture law, the legal aspect, constitutional base, and what will be the impact if clemency is granted? What will be the impact on the society? At the same time, the reason behind commission of crime was not something which we can impose to the intentions of the convict, but circumstances were such. And what is the impact on his mental health because of his being convicted? What is the impact on his family? And can he be reformed? What is his conduct in the prison? So immediately psychological angle also comes into picture. Now, when we talk about this research only, then of course, the research is always based on research problem. Now, research problem can be descriptive, can be comparative. Descriptive is when you describe certain situations. Like the problem will be how tribal people settle their conflicts. If you say we have to maintain their culture, their heritage, and we don't apply these laws to the tribal people. Now, this is a question. When we talk about comparative problem, then we can compare our laws with some other country if we want to bring reforms in our laws. Similarly, then there may be causal research problem. Whether poverty is the root cause of all crime or poverty is the root cause of all corruption. Now, this can be a problem. Similarly, we can talk about normative research problem also. When we talk about, like in the modern times, we are going beyond this court system to ADR system. Then the problem may be whether conflicts can be resolved through ADR system. Then we may talk about evaluative research problems. Evaluative is when we want to evaluate the passage of some law, implementation of some law, that like we can now say we have the law on surrogacy, whether this law, because it prohibits commercial surrogacy, whether this commercial surrogacy will be monitored, regulated and controlled by this law. Now this will be evaluative. Then sometimes this is design based. Suppose the police has laid down a design to control eve teasing. So you can test whether this design is effective, design X is effective, or design Y is effective. Now, similarly, we have to do research, but I must tell you that you cannot do research unless and until you have bent of mind. You are ready to work hard, because it's in Sanskrit we say, Udyamen hi siddhyanti karyani na manorthai. It's not your desire that you want to do research. You have to work very, very hard. And how can we forget the teachings of Bhagavad Gita? Karmane vadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachan. And at the same time, don't forget whether it's traditional research methods or advanced technology research methods, ethics always have a place. You have to follow the values. And ethics, all of you know that you have to get your similarity index checked. Just keep it in your mind. If somebody enters your house and steals your things, you'll say, oh, my property has been stolen. But if somebody steals your knowledge, your thought, your viewpoint without acknowledging you, what kind of feeling you will have? No, research ethics are there. And as I talked about the purpose of research, if you just manipulate, you cook the data, you just hoaxing is there, you show you have done the research, but you have not, then the purpose is not served. And I must tell you, Sanskrit we say, na chaura haryam na bhratri bhajyam. When we talk about knowledge, education, we talk about research, that this is something which nobody can steal, and you don't have to get it divided among brothers in the family. You don't have to, brothers. Once you have completed the research, it is open to the public. They may make the best use of it, but you must be acknowledged. And I'll just conclude. I can share with you that I'm a poet by heart. Number of poems I have written on this research, but I'll just share one with you, which talks about research. It talks about research ethics. रब ने बनाए थे नियम जब भेजा धरती पर. रब ने बनाए थे नियम जब भेजा धरती पर. मात पिता को दिया आदेश, रहो संस्कार देने को तत्पर. जन्म से ले आज तक जो किया इन नियमों का पालन. जन्म से ले आज तक जो किया इन नियमों का पालन. नहीं ढूंढते फिरते अनुसंधान हेतु कोई साधन. आचार संहिता बनानी है, शोध डिजिटल हो या नॉन डिजिटल. शुद्ध करना है शोध, बनाने को इसे सफल. बात गुणों की करो, क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च. बात गुणों की करो या गणना की, क्वांटिटेटिव रिसर्च. बात गुणों की करो या गणना की, शोध करो तुम. एकांत सुरक्षित रखो मेरा, मगर अकेला ना छोड़ो तुम. You recognize my identity, my existence as researcher. गोपनीय रखने हैं जरूरी मेरे विचार और सूचना. गोपनीय रखने हैं जरूरी मेरे विचार और सूचना. विश्वास जीत मेरा, सूचित सहमति से पूछना. Informed consent. When you're testing the respondents, you need informed consent. मेरे और अपने अस्तित्व का करना मान. मेरे और अपने अस्तित्व का करना मान. सचेत रहना, न हो किसी ऑनलाइन या ऑफलाइन मंच पर अपमान. Otherwise you will be humiliated if you are caught. मैं नहीं चाहती मेरी सोच और विश्लेषण हो कलंकित. मैं नहीं चाहती मेरी सोच और विश्लेषण एनालिसिस हो कलंकित. गणना में करो शामिल, ना करो मुझे प्रकाशित. Now many a time your respondents will say, you can have my opinion when you are having your data, but please don't disclose my identity. Identity is always optional. ज्ञानवर्धन तुम्हारा हक है, ज्ञान का विनाश नहीं. ज्ञानवर्धन तुम्हारा हक है, ज्ञान का विनाश नहीं. तुम्हारी सोच मोहताज है किसी और सोच की, यह विकास नहीं. You have your independent thought, but you have to prove it that what you are saying is right through existing literature, or you may be alone at a moment when you are bringing out your results. Don't bother, because then the day is not far off. Other researchers will follow you. रब भी तो शोध करता है विनाश कर सृजन करने को. रब भी तो शोध करता है विनाश कर सृजन करने को, मगर संवारता है, सुधारता है सभ्यताओं के पुनर्जन्म को। एंड फाइनली आई प्रे टू गॉड, ए रब दे बुद्धि, ए रब दे बुद्धि, बुद्धि जीवियों को एक बार फिर, ए रब दे बुद्धि, बुद्धि जीवियों को एक बार फिर, शायद तेरे सृजन के नियमों के उल्लंघन से ही सीखते हैं, शायद तेरे सृजन के नियमों के उल्लंघन से ही सीखते हैं। थैंक यू। सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः।
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much for speaking at this last session of IFDP, ma'am. And we are grateful for the time and effort you took to share your thoughts and expertise with us. Your research, your years of research, your depth of knowledge and understanding on the topic, and your ability to present the subject in such an interesting way produced one of the most memorable lecture. I believe we all took notes. As we end today's event, I would like to thank you all for joining the program. Your presence here shows a strong commitment to work towards the goal of faculty development. In particular, I would like to express my sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Ms. Nishtha Jaswal, for sharing her expertise with us. We look forward to having you again in our next series. Your presence definitely enriched this lecture, and for this we remain grateful. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to Honorable Chancellor Mr. Mohinder Singh Ji for providing us a wonderful platform to host such events. I would also like to thank Honorable Vice-Chancellor Sir Shri K.S. Rana and Registrar Sir Amresh Kumar for lending their support throughout the event. Without them, the program could not have been possible. I would like to express my gratitude in particular to our teams, Ms. R.Prerna, Ms. Vaswa, Ms. Muskan, Ms. Sadhana, Ms. Divya, Ms. Meenakshi, Mr. Vatsal, and Mr. Hemant, who provided invaluable assistance in the planning of all such events. They are our pillars of support, or in other words, a solid backbone. And I want to express my heartfelt gratitude to them for all their cooperation and support. Last but not the least, I would like to thank all the participants for making time to sit through this program. It was lively, engaging, educative, and fulfilling because of your presence. Thank you again for your attendance. Participants, I request you all to switch on your camera so that we can all take a group photograph. All the participants, please. And before leaving the meeting, kindly share your valuable feedbacks about the program and help us to improve our event in the future. Your feedbacks are precious for us. You'll receive your certificates on the basis of your attendance and feedback forms. Participants, please switch on your cameras. Let's all say cheese for a group photograph. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for participating. I wish you all the success.
Thank you, ma'am.
Dear participants, feedback form is shared in the chat box. I request all of you to please fill the feedback form.